You were originally a fallen fake Taoist apprentice, but the magical artifacts you crafted were fiercely fought over by disciples from other sects. The soul-capturing bell, meant to mesmerize people, unexpectedly became a highly effective laxative. After hearing about it, demonic sect disciples enjoyed smooth lives together. The seven treasures gourd, which should have collected weapons, ended up also absorbing people's clothes along with their weapons. Since then, the senses of Taixuan never left her home. 3 days ago, you transmigrated into the body of the vice sect leader of Changsheng Temple. The original person was nothing but a loser. His cultivation was low, and he was addicted to gambling. He only became the vice sect leader because he's the sect leader's junior brother. While the sect leader was away, he gambled away everything in Changsheng Temple of value, until nothing was left. Now you can barely afford food. You even owe 800 taels of silver in outside debt, and less than 7 days remain before repayment is due. The debt collectors warned, if you fail to pay back, they'll come break both your hands. Having no choice, Yuan Shen tricked his second disciple, Liu Dongyu, into attending a sect competition hosted by the Taixuan Holy Land. If he placed in the top 1,000, they'd reward him with 1,000 taels of silver. But Liu Dongyu isn't an idiot. With his lousy cultivation, he might not even survive the competition. In the end, Yuan Shen promised to craft a magic treasure for Liu Dongyu, so he finally agreed. But Yuan Shen died unexpectedly during the process, leaving only you, completely confused, who transmigrated here. At this moment, there are only 2 paths in front of you. One is to wait for the creditors to break your hands. The second is to craft a magic treasure, so Liu Dongyu can compete, win 1,000 taels, and solve the crisis for now. Either way, it's a dead end. You decide to give it a shot. In front of you sits a red gourd. Its name is the Seven Treasures Gourd. Its function is to forcibly absorb enemies' weapons and pull them into the gourd. You pick up the red gourd, and following the instructions from the manual, using the key guidance method, you focus your mind and concentrate on it. You dip your finger in cinnabar and continue inscribing the next set of runes on the gourd. Once you finish writing the last rune, a trace of spiritual power actually arises within you and is instantly infused into the gourd. In an instant, the Seven Treasures gourd in your hand starts to tremble. A faint green light spreads from the gourd. It's activated. You're a bit surprised. You really managed to craft a legendary magic treasure. Wait, something's not right. The manual on magic treasures clearly stated that once the Seven Treasures gourd was completed, it would emit a red glow. But why? Did it just emit green light instead? After carefully checking 3 times, you still can't find any mistakes. Right then, you hear someone urging from outside again. Uncle Master, is it ready yet? Stop nagging, you push the door open to see 3 anxious faces outside. The one with the highest cultivation is naturally Liu Dongyu. The younger boy next to him is named Ximing, and the girl is young Kanju. Here, you toss the Seven Treasures gourd to Liu Dongyu. Liu Dongyu catches it, his eyes instantly lighting up. The Seven Treasures gourd? It really is the Seven Treasures gourd. Ximing and Yan Kanju crowd around in excitement too. Second senior brother, try it out now. Ximing urges him impatiently, but Liu Dongyu shakes his head. Crafted magic treasures have limited uses. This one can only be used 9 times, so it's extremely precious. How could he waste it like this? But senior brother, I want to see it too. Young Kanju comes up close, her big eyes looking at Liu Dongyu longingly. Normally if she acted cute, he'd always give in. Right now you also want to say, maybe you should just try it once. Thinking back to that green light, you can't shake the feeling that something is off about this treasure. But today Liu Dongyu is firm. This treasure was hard-won, so it can't be used casually. Seeing that Liu Dongyu can't bear to try it, the 2 are disappointed and turn to prepare dinner instead. Liu Dongyu, after thanking you, heads back happily holding the gourd. Looking at your disciples, wearing patched Taoist robes, you can only sigh. Yan Kan is addicted to gambling and has sold almost everything of value. Soon the sect won't even have money for rice. Maybe you should go fortune-telling at the market again tomorrow. Early the next morning, Liu Dongyu comes to say goodbye. Uncle Master, after I leave, please take good care of the juniors, and please try to gamble less. Don't worry, you're no longer the old Li Hanzhou, So you won't gamble anymore. Disciple is leaving then? Wait, let me give you this. You pull out a talisman and hand it to Liu Dongyu. Liu Dongyu looks at it in surprise and murmurs, Vajra talisman? Be careful while you're out. Take care in everything. I have nothing else to give you as travel money. But even if this is not much use, consider it a protective charm. Thank you, Uncle Master. Liu Dongyu tucks the Vajra talisman away carefully, then bows deeply to you and heads off. A little later, you look at the meager food supplies on the mountain and the two hungry disciples left behind. Within Changsheng Temple, you find a stick and a piece of cloth to pack up some food. Then get ready to earn a living outside. Uncle Master, where are you going? Ximing and Yan Kenju see you about to leave and immediately ask, I'm going out to make some money so I can buy you some meat. You two just stay in the sect and behave. I'll be back tonight. Earning money to buy meat? The two kids exchange a look. Is that something Uncle Master would actually do? They're afraid you're just going to town to gamble again. An hour later, on a bustling street in Bayun City, you find a little corner and set up a small fortune-telling stall. You prop up a sign at the side and begin today's hustling. Yes, today begins. But you're barely busy all morning. You only read 2 fortunes in total. One finished, just thanked you and left, while the other so-called customer only gave you and rubbed your hand for ages, almost drooling as you're wondering whether to close up. A carriage slowly approaches on the street, but shockingly, there's a black cloud over the top of the carriage, with a blood-red mist swirling within. Damn, that's ominous. You're stunned at the sight. Suddenly, the coachman sees someone in the way, blocking his carriage, so he quickly pulls the reins and yells, Are you looking to die? What do you want? At this moment, the curtain lifts, and a young man pokes his head out from inside the carriage. Sir, you're facing a bloody disaster soon. Bullshit, the coachman snaps. But the young man's eyes brighten at your words, leapt off the carriage, excitedly grabbed your hand and said, You could tell right away. Senior, to be honest with you, my family has been having trouble with a demon lately. Didn't expect you to see through it immediately. Please help me. You're a bit stunned at the moment. You had a whole story prepared to fool him, but you hadn't said a word, and this kid just came up to you himself. Anyone could see this guy's a scammer. The coachman is a bit speechless. The young man looks at you in surprise. You ask, Are you a scammer? Of course not. You shake your head and say, See, he says he's not. The young man tells the coachman,
Hey.
You feel a bit awkward seeing this. Finally found someone this clueless. How could you not scam him a little? Don't worry with me here. Then you pick up a brush and dip it in cinnabar and draw a talisman directly on yellow paper. This is a special exorcism talisman from my sect. Stick it above your bed and you'll be safe. You hand the talisman to the young man. Awesome. He treasures it like a prized possession. How much is it? The young man asks. You wave your hand grandly and hold up 5 fingers. This young guy must be loaded. Charging him 5 taels of silver isn't too much. Only 500 taels? That's so cheap. You're even giving me a discount. The young man immediately takes out 5 silver notes and hands them over. You're completely stunned. Is it really this easy to make 500 taels? Thank you, senior. Once I go back and get rid of that demon, I'll come personally to thank you. The young man chuckles. If Dad finds out, he'll definitely praise me. While you're still in shock, the young man has already gotten back in the carriage and left. But right at that moment, the sweet potato vendor next to you snickers, bro. You're screwed. That's the Yu, son of Bayun City's lord. It's one thing to scam him, but he has a sister named the Zing. She's a disciple of Shangqing sect. Hot-tempered, hates evil with a passion. If the Zing finds out you scammed her brother, she'd probably break at least 30 of your ribs. Hearing that, cold sweat breaks out on your forehead. But looking at those 500 taels, you decide to take the risk. Worst case, you just don't come back tomorrow. Anyway, 500 taels is enough for Changsheng Temple's expenses. So you quickly pack up your stall and get out of there as fast as you can. You buy lots of meat in Bayun City and rice as well. Before leaving the city, you also grab 2 candied hawthorns for Ximing and young Kenju. Just as you're making a clean getaway, The Yun returns to the city lord's mansion. Dad, I bought something great. He runs straight into the main hall and sees his father, the Qingbai, sitting there, talking to a young woman. You're not a kid anymore. Stop being so reckless. The Qingbai says reproachfully, your sister's back. Didn't you see her? Go greet her already. Sis. The Yun has to go over, nervously calling out. Where did you run off to this time? The Xing asks with a frown. Something this big is happening at home. And you're still running around town. You're old enough to help out Dad. I didn't. The Yun protests, feeling wronged. I only went out to try and fix things for the family. Dad's been having nightmares lately, splitting headaches. So I went out to find a solution. And I already found something. Wait. Forget it. The Qingbai waves his hand, saying helplessly, what can you possibly do? Your sister's a disciple of the Shangqing sect. She's really strong. Even if there is a demon, your sister will handle it. But I really found a solution. The Yun stubbornly pulls out the exorcism talisman you gave him. I met a highly skilled expert, he said with this talisman. We could destroy the demon. Looking at the plain-looking talisman in the Yun's hand, the Qingbai sighs deeply and shakes his head. Taoist talismans. Hey, ever since the world changed 800 years ago, and Linhai was sealed off, there's been no more spiritual energy. Taoism has declined ever since. Their talismans are utterly useless now. Hardly any disciples left in the sect. You got scammed again, didn't you? How much did you pay for this? 500 taels, the Yun stammers. The Xing narrows her eyes. All right then, good. Once I get rid of the demon at home, I'll go settle the score with that scammer. Trying to con the city lord's family. Just wait till I break 30 of his ribs. After the Xing finishes, the Yun is thoroughly disappointed. He really thought he could help his family this time. Help his father for once. But in the end, he got scammed again. So he just tosses the talisman on the table and leaves in disappointment. The Xing says nothing, apparently disappointed in her brother as well. Dad, don't worry. The Xing says calmly at that moment. There's definitely a trace of demonic aura at home. I haven't found where the demon is yet. But if it shows up again, I'll make sure to let it taste some Shangqing sect skills. Good, with you here. I can relax. The Qingbai nods, satisfied. By the time you return to Changcheng Temple, it's already dusk.
I'm back.
You shout at the top of your lungs. Shiming and young Kanju see the meat in your hands and simply can't believe their own eyes. Ever since they can remember, you were always selling things from the sect. When did you ever bring anything back? Take the rice and meat to the kitchen? You instruct them. I'll show you my cooking skills tonight. Let's slaughter the fat sheep. You're in a great mood, deciding to cook yourself. You're really sick of vegetarian food lately. As you say this, you hand over the candied hawthorns to Shiming and young Kanju, one for each of you. No fighting, you add. Then you head to the kitchen to cook. Shiming and young Kanju are left standing there, stunned, staring at the candied hawthorns in their hands. A look of dread appears on their faces. Third senior and uncle must be in debt outside. Maybe they're planning to sell poor little me. At this moment, young Kanju's legs are shaking. Shiming swallows nervously. Brought food back, making dinner himself. Even bought us candied hawthorns. Guess he's going to sell me too. Probably already negotiated a price. The buyer already put down a deposit. Junior sister, we can't just sit and wait for disaster. All the senior brothers are gone. We've got to save ourselves. Speaking to young Kanju with unwavering determination. Third senior brother, this candied hawthorn is really sweet. The next morning, thousands of people have come to Taixuan Holy Land to participate in this competition. And the disciples this time are all elites from various sects. Some of the strongest have even reached the 8th rank. This disciple competition at Taixuan Holy Land, the rules are very simple. At this moment, the high-ranking elders of Taixuan Holy Land stepped out. His voice instantly overwhelmed everyone. In a moment, all of you will be transported to our Taixuan Holy Land's Wind and Sand Valley. Keep heading north through Wind and Sand Valley. And deep inside the valley, you'll find a mountain called 100 Caves Mountain. The first 1,000 disciples to reach 100 Caves Mountain will all receive rewards granted by our Taixuan Holy Land. On the way, you may fight each other, but killing is not allowed. And the first disciple to reach 100 Caves Mountain can climb the mountain and challenge the next 3 stages. In these 3 stages, Taixuan Holy Land disciples will spar with you. But the fights are only to the point of deciding a winner. They'll even let you make the first 3 moves. They'll also suppress their cultivation to match your level. If you can defeat all 3 Taixuan Holy Land disciples, the Bo axe atop 100 Caves Mountain will be yours. Everyone gasped. On the Divine Weapons ranking of the 5 continents, the Bo axe is ranked 47th. The Bo axe is ranked 47th. The elder of Taixuan Holy Land glanced at everyone. Now let the competition begin. In an instant, thousands of disciples surged forward like a mighty army, already heading towards 100 Caves Mountain. Damn, how is that Daoist so fast? He's only at the 5th rank. His lightness skill is incredible. This guy is definitely going to take a spot. Let's take him out first. Liu Dongyu displayed his exquisite footwork, weaving through the crowd. When it comes to direct combat skill, Liu Dongyu admits he's not good at it. And the techniques of Changsheng sect are all extremely difficult to master. However, Liu Dongyu spent most of his time training his lightness skill. The 9-star cloud step of Changsheng sect is considered one of the top light movement techniques. Liu Dongyu's steps seemed to follow the 9 stars, his figure agile and graceful. Not long after the start, he had already rushed to the front. Where did this filthy Daoist come from? Go back right now. A furious roar erupted. A blade flashed towards him. The blade strike was lightning fast. Liu Dongyu was startled.
He drew his sword to block.
But the powerful force sent Liu Dongyu stumbling backwards on the spot. Seeing your sister, it's the Overlord sword. Liu Dongyu was shocked inside. Looking up, he saw he was now completely surrounded by Overlord sword sect disciples. At this moment, 7 or 8 disciples surrounded Liu Dongyu, intent on crippling him. Leading the group was the chief disciple of Overlord sword sect. Not very old, but already so arrogant. Just as everyone was about to attack, Liu Dongyu's 7 treasures gourd appeared directly in his hand. 7 treasures gourd. An Overlord sword sect disciple exclaimed in surprise. They instinctively halted their steps. Back off now. Or don't blame me for sucking away your weapons. If you lose your weapons, I'm afraid it won't be easy to get out of these mountains. Liu Dongyu, sticking to his save resources if possible principle, tried not to use the spiritual treasure and chose to bluff instead. Fine, then just go. The chief disciple of Overlord sword sect thought it over and finally decided to let Liu Dongyu leave. I can't believe it. Not only are people from Overlord sword sect just a bunch of losers, you're all a bunch of brainless idiots. Just then, a clear, cold voice came over. Disciples from the Zhao family and Overlord sword sect clearly recognized the newcomer. They snorted. Zhao Shan, you want to fight? Zhao Shan simply shook his head. I'm not interested in fighting you. I just can't stand watching your stupidity. With that, Zhao Zhan pointed at Liu Dongyu and said, Look at him, a Taoist disciple, all dressed for hunting. Looks completely broke. How could a pauper like him afford a 7 treasures gourd? Everyone froze. That's true, and the 7 treasures gourd is supposed to shimmer red. Since when did you see a 7 treasures gourd glowing green? It's fake, couldn't be more fake. Zhao Shan couldn't help but tell them. Everyone shifted their gaze. Of course, that 7 treasures gourd was literally glowing green, even shining a green light over Liu Dongyu's face. Damn, you almost fooled me, trying to trick me with a fake gourd. I'm going to break your hand. The Overlord sword sect disciples closed in on him again, all furious. After hearing Zhao Shan, even Liu Dongyu started to suspect that his own 7 treasures gourd was fake. A real 7 treasures gourd does glow red, but his is glowing green. Could it really be a fake? Uncle Master, oh Uncle Master, you're going to get me killed. Is it real or a fake? Let's just find out. Liu Dongyu braced himself and still took off the 7 treasures gourd from his waist. He shouted, Collect. As soon as the words left his mouth, the 7 treasures gourd suddenly glowed even more green, turning Liu Dongyu's entire head green. While everyone was still stunned, a surge of powerful energy burst from the gourd. a vortex sucking toward everyone. Shit, this treasure is actually dangerous. Our weapons are being sucked away. Run. Overlord Sword Sect and Zhao family disciples all panicked. But just then, with a sudden rip, one Overlord Sword Sect disciple found his clothes instantly torn apart. Next second, even their underwear flew off, shredded to bits. It all got sucked into the gourd. Now standing but naked right there. He froze on the spot. What the hell? Liu Dongyu was even more dumbfounded. What just happened? At this moment, all the Overlord Sword Sect and Zhao family disciples were left stark naked in Wind and Sand Valley, looking at each other in utter confusion. That's perverted. The female disciples not far away saw the commotion, immediately dropped their swords, and quickly covered their eyes. Filthy Taoist, I'll kill you. The Overlord Sword Sect chief was now beyond furious, roaring furiously at Liu Dongyu. Kill that bastard. I'll use you as a sacrifice for my sword. The Zhao family disciples were all shouting in anger as well. But even though everyone was yelling, no one dared make a move, because every one of them was now squatting on the ground, covering their butts with one hand and their crotches with the other, not leaving any hands free to attack Liu Dongyu. I don't even know what just happened. Sorry, everyone. With that, Liu Dongyu quickly freed himself and dashed toward 100 Caves Mountain. Liu Dongyu was now sprinting non-stop, running as fast as he could, thanks to his advanced lightness skill. Liu Dongyu noticed that there weren't many people ahead of him anymore. Could it be that I have a chance to compete for those 5,000 taels of silver? Liu Dongyu's face lit up with joy. Where did this Taoist with such light footwork come from? At this moment, a thunderous voice exploded in the air. Immediately after, a figure blocked Liu Dongyu's path. The newcomer's aura was incredibly powerful. The curved blade at his waist looked exceptionally sharp. Yushan Sect Shen Zongao. Seeing the newcomer's outfit, Liu Dongyu's heart sank. A fallen disciple of the Taoist sect, who could actually make it into the top 30. He must have some skills, but the spots ahead are not something a mere 5th grade martial artist like you can easily take. Shen Zongao spoke slowly. Go for it. This time, Liu Dongyu didn't hesitate. He knew he couldn't possibly be a match for Shen Zongao. So the 7 treasure gourd flew out directly. Shen Zongao's face was lit up green by the gourd. What is this green thing? Shen Zongao stared at the 7 treasure gourd.
He sneered. That looks like the 7th treasure gourd.
But the 7 treasure gourd doesn't give off green light. You, a mere 5th grade martial artist, even if you have the 7 treasure gourd in your hand, what can you really do with it? The 7 treasure gourd vibrated violently. A powerful suction erupted from within the gourd, rushing straight toward Shen Zongao. Shen Zongao snorted coldly. Golden light blazed around his body. With the 1,000 jin body, Shen Zongao's body was as heavy as 1,000 pounds. The curved blade in his hand was locked tightly in his grip. You'll never be able to suck away my weapon. However, at that very moment, before Shen Zongao's curved blade could fly out, his clothes suddenly ripped with a sharp sound. Shen Zongao didn't even realize what was happening. His clothes turned into shreds. They were sucked directly into Liu Dongyu's gourd. In the blink of an eye, Shen Zongao was left completely naked, standing in front of Liu Dongyu. Damn! Shen Zongao suddenly squatted down, quickly covering his private parts with his hands. And at that moment, the curved blade in his hand finally flew out, getting pulled into the gourd. Liu Dongyu looked at the familiar scene before him. He really hadn't expected this.
His own gourd?
Could even suck away the clothes of such a master. What the hell is wrong with you? What kind of spirit treasure are you using? Are you insane? Shen Zongao swore loudly. Give me back my clothes. Shen Zongao was about to cry. Sorry about that. Your clothes are ripped to shreds, so I can't give them back to you. Liu Dongyu quickly apologized. Then he said, I'll get going now. If you see your fellow disciples later, just ask one of them for some clothes. With that, Liu Dongyu displayed his qinggong and left quickly. You bastard, get back here. Shen Zongao cursed out loud. Liu Dongyu moved faster and faster with his qinggong. He saw fewer and fewer people ahead. Liu Dongyu's excitement only grew. He originally just wanted to pass the exam, and getting into the top 1,000 would have been good enough. Take the silver and leave? Who would have thought he'd make it this far? This little Taoist is so fast. I can't believe the Taoist sect has such a fierce movement technique. Just at that moment, Jiang Nanyan, who was ranked third, saw Liu Dongyu about to overtake her. Jiang Nanyan frowned and was about to make her move. However, just at that moment, a sudden voice sounded next to Jiang Nanyan's ear. Do not interfere. That voice was urgent. Hearing this voice, Jiang Nanyan paused in surprise. Then, she watched Liu Dongyu pass her father's voice. Jiang Nanyan didn't understand. Why? Her father wouldn't let her attack this young Taoist. He's just a 5th rank cultivator. She was the legitimate daughter of the Zhang family and a 7th rank at that. Could she really not beat him? Seeing Jiang Nanyan let Liu Dongyu pass, Jiang Nanyan, standing on the Grand Plaza at Taixuan Holy Land, finally let out a sigh of relief. A few Zhang family elders behind Jiang Nanyan also wiped the cold sweat from their brows. Good thing the young lady didn't make a move. Otherwise, the Jiang family would have been utterly humiliated. Rank 2nd was a disciple of Sword Sect, who was also about to attack Liu Dongyu when his family elders stopped him. This made Liu Dongyu feel extremely lucky. Those two were actually pretty decent, since neither attacked him. Otherwise, he would have wasted another use of the 7 treasure gourd. Liu Dongyu smacked his lips, feeling a bit of regret when thinking of Jiang Nanyan just now. For some reason, he still felt it was kind of a pity. There was one more person.
He saw Liu Tianxing not far ahead.
Liu Dongyu's eyes burned with excitement. Now he actually had a shot at winning first place. First place would get even more silver. Thinking of this, Liu Dongyu felt a surge of motivation. The Yun Bujiu method ran even more smoothly. Liu Dongyu looked like a shooting star. Rushing forward, Liu Tianxing, holding securely onto first place, suddenly sensed an aura catching up from behind. This surprised Liu Tianxing. Tianxing, watch out. Just at that moment, Liu Tianxing heard the voice of an elder from Taixuan Holy Land. There's something strange about the treasure on his waist. Never underestimate him. Liu Tianxing stared carefully and saw a gourd hanging from Liu Dongyu's waist. Just a mere 7 treasure gourd. And he's just a 5th rank martial artist. What danger could he possibly pose? Liu Tianxing curled his lip in disdain. I am from Taixuan Holy Land, the best disciple in 100 years. Liu Dongyu is nothing but a penniless little Taoist of the 5th rank. To Liu Tianxing, he wasn't even worth comparing to livestock. At that moment, Liu Tianxing stood on a rock wall at the edge of a cliff. The battle axe on his back broke free from its strap and flew out. The sound of the axe rang through the valley. Behind Liu Tianxing, a shadow faintly appeared, massive as a giant. Its oppressive aura swept in all directions. The 4th stage of the Pangyu technique. Experts outside the arena who saw this scene all revealed looks of shock. At such a young age, he had already cultivated Taixuan Holy Land's Pangyu technique to the 4th stage. No wonder the Taixuan Holy Lord took out the Baru axe. So it turns out, all the other sect's disciples were just here as foils.
Taixuan Holy Land
just wanted to build up their best disciple's reputation. At that moment, as Liu Dongyu advanced, he felt a sudden tremor in his heart. He sensed, from ahead, came a power like a boundless tidal wave. That kind of pressure made him feel like he was facing a prehistoric beast. So strong, Liu Dongyu was shocked. He thought if that axe came down, he'd be dead or half dead for sure. Liu Dongyu instinctively reached for the 7 treasure gourd at his waist. I won't give you a chance. At that moment, Liu Tianxing stepped out, his mysterious footwork pushed to the limit. The battle axe in his hands smashed down fiercely. The huge blade of the axe swept down like a crescent moon. It was so fast. So fast that Liu Dongyu had no time to use the 7 treasure gourd. It's over. Feeling the sharp energy, Liu Dongyu knew he was finished. The axe light shook the heavens and the earth. The vast true energy cracked the earth apart. However, just as Liu Dongyu thought it was all over, the Vajra talisman in Liu Dongyu's body suddenly activated. A beam of golden light immediately enveloped him. Around the golden light, runes circled. Liu Tianxing's axe struck fiercely at the golden light protecting Liu Dongyu. The terrifying force cracked the ground at Liu Dongyu's feet. But it didn't harm him in the slightest. What? Lu Tianxing's face changed. A Taoist talisman! Several Taixuan Holy Land elders shot to their feet. A tiny talisman. Actually, blocked. An attack powered by Tianxing's 9th rank cultivation. Who could have drawn this talisman? The Vajra talisman activated. At this moment, Liu Dongyu couldn't believe his own eyes. With his uncle master's cultivation, how did he do it? Liu Dongyu couldn't figure it out. But now wasn't the time to worry about that. Taking advantage of Lu Tianxing's dazed state, Liu Dongyu lifted the 7 treasure gourd in his hand and shouted, "Receive!" A wild wind rose up. Lu Tianxing staggered, and his battle axe slipped from his grasp and flew away, seeming to get sucked right into Liu Dongyu's 7 treasure gourd. "Tianxing, run!" At that moment, Lu Tianxing heard a collective shout from the elders of Taixuan Holy Land. Their voices were desperate. "Fine, even if my weapon's been taken, I'm not afraid. It's just a measly 5th rank opponent. His talisman's effect won't last long. When it fades, I'll smash him even with my bare fists. I, Lu Tianxing, have an unbending spirit. I'd rather die fighting than run away." Lu Tianxing stood proud and unyielding. Taixuan Holy Land elders. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but cover their eyes. Lu Tianxing's pride didn't even last 2 breaths. When suddenly there was a ripping sound. Lu Tianxing realized the seam of his pants had split open. "Damn it, you freaking pervert! If you've got the guts, don't leave with my underwear. Get your ass back here. Master, save me!" At this moment, the entire plaza of the Holy Land fell silent. A lot of people wanted to laugh, but none of them dared to. They could only hold it in with great effort. Not only was he completely exposed in front of everyone, the worst part was it was so tiny. The Grand Elder of Taijuan's Sacred Emperor looked at Liu Dongyu's back in the shoe mirror's reflection, his teeth itching with hatred. Where did this troublemaker even come from? "Go find out for me. You 3, make sure to properly greet this Liu Dongyu." At that moment, the Grand Elder spoke again through transmission to the 3 examiner disciples of Taijuan's Sacred Emperor. At the foot of Baiku Mountain, there was a disciple stationed at both the mountainside and the mountaintop. The 3, who were originally meditating, all opened their eyes the moment they received the Grand Elder's message. All at once they opened their eyes, each of their eyes filled with confusion. Who the heck is Liu Dongyu? According to the script, shouldn't it be their junior brother Lu Tianxing showing up? The elder had already given instructions earlier. If something unexpected really happens, and it's not Lu Tianxing who shows up, then go all out on him. He absolutely can't be allowed to claim the Bo Ruo mansion. At the same time, Liu Dongyu had already arrived at the foot of Baiku Mountain. A disciple from Taijuan Holy Land was already waiting there. He was leaning against the ancient tree behind him, and seemed a bit surprised as Liu Dongyu walked up. He was clearly stunned. "You're the number 1? Is it this senior brother? I'm here to take the assessment." That Taijuan disciple gave a cold laugh. "Fine, let the assessment begin then. According to the rules, I'll suppress my cultivation to match yours, and you'll make the first move. After 3 moves, I'll fight back." "All right, senior brother. Sorry about this." Liu Dongyu clasped his fists and bowed. "We'll see who'll be sorry. This junior is already making his move with full force." That Taijuan disciple just smiled. "Then, sorry about that." Liu Dongyu drew his 7 treasures gourd. With a loud shout, the 7 treasures gourd burst forth with a brilliant green light. "Seriously? How ridiculous. I didn't even bring a weapon. What can you possibly do to me with that 7 treasures gourd?" Hey. The Taijuan disciple hadn't even finished speaking, when suddenly he found his clothes being torn apart on the spot. Even his pants were sucked right into the 7 treasures gourd. "Unbelievable! You little thief! How dare you humiliate me like this? Don't run, come back here." Liu Dongyu paid it no mind, leaving the Taijuan disciple to hide in the bush, yelling curses after him from behind. On the mountainside, the second Taijuan disciple saw Liu Dongyu coming up, even more incredulous than before. "Ma Heng, that junior brother is really useless. He couldn't even handle a mere 5th-tier opponent. Kid, you attack first. Following the rules, I'll let you make 3 moves." The That 7 treasures gourd is useless against me. I don't even need a weapon. My fists alone will be more than enough to wipe the floor with you. Damn, you have no shame. What the hell is that thing? Get back here. If you've got the guts, give me my clothes back. Then we'll fight again. Quit pretending you can't hear me. You shameless bastard. Right now, at the Taijuan Holy Land Plaza, everyone was stunned. What kind of spirit treasure is that? How could it be so terrifying? They were all starting to want one themselves. If even God-Lvl at the final checkpoint loses, then what are they supposed to do? Such weakness. No matter what, we can't let him pass the final test. A shadow crossed the Grand Elder's face. God-Lvl for this round. You absolutely cannot embarrass Taijuan Holy Land. The Grand Elder immediately sent a voice transmission to God-Lvl at the mountaintop. At that moment, on the mountaintop's blue stone, a young man was lying there, with a wine cup in his hand, savoring his drink. He heard the Grand Elder's message, and sneered in disdain. Then he slowly shook his head. Don't worry, Grand Elder. I, God-Lvl, will never tarnish the reputation of Taixuan sacred land. With that, God-Lvl extended his palm. A massive boulder nearby shattered with a thunderous crash. Within that boulder, a battle axe gleaming with silver cold light flew directly into God-Lvl's hand. That is the Bo-Ruo axe. When everyone outside saw the axe, they couldn't help but feel tempted. Alright, I'll use the Bo-Ruo axe against him. The Grand Elder nodded. A hint of approval appeared on his face. At this moment, under everyone's watchful gaze, Liu Dongyu finally stepped onto the summit. God-Lvl saw Liu Dongyu. He smiled confidently. Liu Dongyu nodded. Then, with cupped fists, he said, Senior brother, you're the examiner for the final round, aren't you? That's right, God-Lvl replied slowly. I stayed at the summit and watched the fights between you, junior brother Ma Heng, and junior brother Su Yan. I have to admit, your 7 treasures gourd is quite fascinating. Liu Dongyu frowned. This person saw his 7 treasures gourd and remained so calm and composed. Looks like he's extremely confident. This will be tricky. Alright, senior brother, let's not waste any more time. Let's begin now. Liu Dongyu cautiously asked. Previously, your rules stated I could make the first 3 moves. The rules haven't changed at the last minute, right? Of course not. Our Taixuan sacred emperor's word is like a spit. Once it's out, it won't be taken back. God-Lvl lifted his chin and said proudly. Alright, Liu Dongyu took a deep breath, then picked up his gourd. But right at that moment, he saw a smirk on God-Lvl's lips. As God-Lvl stepped forward, everyone was shocked and confused. With a thud, God-Lvl suddenly knelt before Liu Dongyu, holding the Bo-Ruo axe above his head. I concede. Is the Bo-Ruo axe yours now? Taixuan sacred emperor. The Grand Elder coughed up blood. That brat just openly surrendered. Everyone else was completely stunned. What kind of move is this? Even Liu Dongyu was stunned. Right there, still not having made a move, God-Lvl just conceded the fight. Liu Dongyu stared confusedly at the Bo-Ruo axe in front of him, then picked it up. God-Lvl rose and laughed heartily, then turned and walked away. The Grand Elder had said, we must not disgrace Taixuan sacred emperor. If I got stripped down, that would be even more embarrassing for Taixuan sacred land. As Liu Dongyu got the Bo-Ruo axe, the trial officially ended. A moment later, everyone was enveloped in the glow of the teleportation array beneath their feet. In a flash, everyone returned to Taixuan sacred land's plaza. The trial is over. First, congratulations to those who made it to the top 1,000. Next, rewards will be distributed. The Grand Elder of Taixuan sacred land stepped forward, blood still staining his chest from earlier. Ranks 101 to 1,000 will receive 1,000 taels of silver. We hope you continue to strive forward, said the Taixuan sacred land's Grand Elder. Many disciples were overjoyed. 1,000 taels of silver is quite a sum for them. Disciples ranked 11th to 100th will receive 5,000 taels of silver, and they'll also get 1 spirit gathering pill. With this announcement, everyone was even happier. Such rewards, plus the spirit gathering pill, are enough to greatly increase their strength. Liu Dongyu's eyes burned with excitement at this moment. The rewards for the top 10 must be even better. Is it 10,000 or 50,000 taels?
He, the Grand Elder coughed twice.
Then addressed the rest. The rewards for the top 10 are much richer. Upon hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. Disciples in the top 10. You will become inner sect disciples of Taixuan Sacred Land. You'll be personally taught by Taixuan Sacred Land's elders and be imparted with the top martial arts of Taixuan Sacred Land, along with resources for inner sect disciples cultivation. When you wish to leave in the future, you can still return to your original sects.
Taixuan Sacred Land,
Smiled the Grand Elder. Upon hearing this, everyone was shocked. Is it really possible to join Taixuan Sacred Land with such benefits? They couldn't believe it, that such a windfall could come their way. For them, this is truly a chance to change their destiny. Only Liu Dongyu stood there, dumbfounded. So there's no cash bonus? Liu Dongyu awkwardly stepped forward and asked, Grand Elder, as the first place winner, shouldn't there be some extra reward? You are so greedy, said a disciple of Taixuan Sacred Land, who angrily stepped forward.
He said, you've already gotten Taixuan Sacred Land's Bio Ruo axe.
What more do you want? Liu Dongyu almost wanted to cry. It's just an old broken axe? How am I supposed to explain this to my uncle? Inside the Changsheng Temple's library. You soaked in the library for a whole day and night. You were never a bookworm in your previous life. But while in the library, you found many fascinating books. One of them recorded something that really piqued your interest. Ascension. According to the books, the vast universe is full of boundless worlds. And when one's cultivation reaches a certain level, ascending to immortality means leaving this tiny world behind and traveling to other worlds. If that's the case, wouldn't I be able to return to Earth? When noon arrived, you went out to eat. At the dining table, Ximing and young Kanju were feasting on meat. Young Kanju had a satisfied expression. Ximing looked worried, staring at the meat before him, feeling like each meal might be his last. After this meal, someone would probably come to take them away. Uncle must have sold them off. Ximing, this time you spoke up. They're here. Ximing froze. Who's here? You asked in surprise. Hey, uncle. We're still listening here. Ximing quickly sat up straight, trying his best to behave. Do you know how to ascend? Ascension? Ximing blinked. Uncle asked. Why would uncle ask about something so unrelated to him? But Ximing still answered earnestly. To ascend, one must have strong cultivation. I've also heard you need to fight for destiny. Only by seizing destiny can you qualify for ascension. Our Zhuanshan realm has already produced several people who ascended. Among them, the first emperor of the Shen kingdom already achieved immortality. Back then, his cultivation reached the supreme shattered realm, and he ascended in broad daylight under everyone's gaze. That's why Shen kingdom stands so firmly today. Supreme shattered realm. What kind of realm is that? Ximing set down his chopsticks and replied seriously. After the 9th grade comes transcendence, and above transcendence is the profound Tao. The next step is to gain insight into the world, entering the Tiangang realm. After Tiangang, you can become a standing immortal. Then comes condensing half a legendary power. Only then can you attempt the ultimate breakthrough. At that point, you're qualified to compete for destiny. That's so complicated. You feel your head spinning as you listen. You're only at the 6th rank now. Is there hope for your cultivation to rise? Uncle Cloud Immortal couldn't help but speak. It's just gambling debt. No need to ascend. Eat your meal. You fall speechless. Uncle, don't even think about ascending. Back then, the 7 Absolute Sword Immortal was truly unmatched. He was known as the #1 genius in Zhuanshan realm. From cultivating to ascending with his whole family, it still took over 400 years. Ximing continued. Wait, family ascension? You stare wide-eyed at Ximing. Are you saying you can bring your family when you ascend? Yes, Ximing nodded. So Ximing, if you ever ascend one day, would you be willing to take us with you? Uncle, you feel a glimmer of hope. When Ximing heard the question, he was stunned for a moment. Then he nodded blankly. He said as long as you don't sell him, he'd agree to anything. Seeing Ximing agree, you beam with joy. Ximing saw you happy, and was relieved as well. Night falls. At this moment, the Xian, Lord of Baiyun City, is cultivating in his room. But right then, The Zing suddenly heard the Shinbei let out a miserable cry. The Zing rushed out at once, heading straight for the Shinbei's room. A loud bang was heard. The Shinbei's door shattered. The Shinbei ran out from inside. He was in immense pain, clutching his head, as if life was worse than death. The guards of the city lord's mansion also rushed in. But when they saw the scene, they had no idea what was going on. They scattered. The Zing's eyes flashed with purple lightning. Instantly, he saw on the Shinbei's body a shadow. It was devouring his father, the Shinbei's soul. The dream fiend saw it. The Zing's expression changed. Zhuangji's true energy surged inside. He struck at the Shinbei with his palm. Purple thunder gathered in his palm, as if it could drive away all evil. A dull bang was heard. That muffled sound? The dream fiend was shaken away by that palm. Its black, ethereal figure was forced back several steps. Then it looked up and sneered. Yuzhou Palace. But not enough mastery yet. I thought a master from Shangqing's sect had arrived. Turns out it's just this. More than enough to deal with you. The Xian stared coldly at the dream fiend. I doubt you came here for no reason. Who's behind you? You're asking too many questions. The dream fiend grinned widely. I've never tasted what a Shangqing sect disciple is like. Let me try. With that, it turned into a demonic wind and battled the Xian. But the Xian was only at the 7th rank. The dream fiend's cultivation was already at the 8th rank. Gradually, the Xian started to lose. Dad, run. The Shinbei was extremely nervous at this moment. But to leave his daughter behind and escape, he couldn't do it. Bang! The dream fiend unleashed a palm strike. The Xian couldn't stop it now.
He was forced back by the palm.
Couldn't help but spit blood. So that's what a Shangqing sect disciple is like, the dream fiend said with a smile. Then moved toward the Shinbei. Dad. The Xian was regretting being overconfident earlier. Don't touch my dad? Just then, a deep thud echoed. It was actually the Yun standing behind the dream fiend, holding a long staff in his hand. He slammed it onto the dream fiend's head. Kid, you really are something. The dream fiend looked back and grinned, then just raised his withered palm and sent the Yun flying into the room. The Yun spit blood on the spot. He crashed badly. Yunner! The Shinbei shouted loudly. Dad! All right, Dream Demon turned to the Shinbei and said, originally, I wanted to enter dreams, to search for something. But now I'm too lazy to look for it myself.
Tell me.
Where is the 9th prince?
Hearing this,
The Shinbei's expression changed. How could I possibly know the 9th prince's whereabouts? Is that so? Dream Demon nodded. Then he turned and walked into the house. If you don't know, I'll kill you. I'll let some of your blood out. After speaking, Dream Demon grabbed the Yun, who was struggling in pain on the ground. With one hand, he choked the Yun's neck. The Yun's expression was extremely painful, and Dream Demon's palm seemed like it could crush the Yun to death in the next second. However, at this moment, Dream Demon heard the Yun, whose face was flushed red, seemingly saying something. What did you say? Dream Demon curiously leaned his face closer. I said, go to hell! The Yun yelled out these words with all his might. Then he suddenly raised his hand. At some unknown point, a talisman appeared in the Yun's hand.
taking advantage of Dream Demon's complete unpreparedness.
The talisman in the Yun's hand was directly pressed onto Dream Demon's forehead. In an instant from that talisman, a dazzling light suddenly erupted. That 8th grade Dream Demon, without even letting out a single scream, was directly sealed by this exorcism talisman. This exorcism talisman works. Dad, sis, does this exorcism talisman work? So he didn't lie to me. This talisman is real. He truly is a peerless expert. The Shinbei stared blankly at this scene. The scene before his eyes completely subverted his understanding. The end of the Daoist sect, Yunner. The Shinbei nodded. Well done. Tomorrow you go find that senior. Thank him properly for saving your life. You must invite him to be a guest at the city lord's mansion. Leave it to me. Praised by his father for the first time, the Yun was extremely happy at this moment. Why aren't they back yet? At this moment, worry filled the longevity temple. Logically, Liu Dongyu should have returned today. But there's still no sign of Liu Dongyu. Also, there's another thing that left you speechless. Originally, he still had true energy at the 6th grade realm, But as his spiritual energy strengthened, that spiritual energy domineeringly swallowed all of his true energy. It was as if it turned the true energy into nourishment. So, at this moment, there was no trace of true energy left in him. He looked like an ordinary person. Uncle Master, second senior brother is back. At this moment, young Kenju ran in from outside. Finally back. Your eyes lit up. The 1,000 taels are finally back. However, when you walked out of the courtyard gate, you saw Liu Dongyu with a mournful face, carrying a large silver axe on his back. What happened? Didn't make it into the top 1,000? Liu Dongyu had already thought it through on the way back. Instead of saying he got first place, he might as well say he didn't make it in at all. Even with my 7 treasures gourd, he still couldn't get into the top 1,000? You seemed a bit unable to accept it. Where did that axe come from? You looked at the polo axe and couldn't help but feel surprised. A souvenir someone gave me, Liu Dongyu quickly said. What? You took the polo axe, weighed it in your hand, and couldn't help but say, speechless. The dignified Taixuan Holy Land, such a grand place, only gives a broken axe as a participation prize. Alas, so be it. Everything is fate. Please punish me, Uncle Master, Liu Dongyu said, cupping his fists. Never mind. No wonder. In your opinion, Liu Dongyu must have tried his best. All right, Uncle Master. Is there something wrong with the refining of your 7 treasures gourd? Is there some kind of problem? Liu Dongyu still couldn't help but ask. Your heart skipped a beat. It seems this time it was because the 7 treasures gourd wasn't effective, which is why he didn't get a rank, right? Liu Dongyu hesitated for a moment, and still recounted the events of this time, but omitted the part about him finally winning the championship. After listening, you were also stunned. The instruction manual didn't say the 7 treasures gourd had such a function. So you're saying the Zhao family members and the disciples of the Tyrant Blade sect, you stripped them all naked? Yes, Liu Dongyu said sheepishly. And Lu Tianxing from the Taixuan Holy Land and so on. Hearing this, your face was covered in black lines. Not only did he not bring the money back, but he also offended so many people. Seeing your expression turn very ugly, Liu Dongyu quickly said. But Uncle Master, the talismans you drew are really powerful. Lu Tianxing, with his 9th grade cultivation, once he launched an attack, still couldn't break through your Vajra talisman, Uncle Master. Uncle Master, when did you get such powerful cultivation? Before he could finish speaking, Liu Dongyu was a bit dumbfounded, because only now did he realize that there wasn't a single trace of true energy on you, as if you were an ordinary person. Oh, how can I live like this? You completely ignored what Liu Dongyu said about the Vajra talisman. In your opinion, it was just Liu Dongyu trying to change the subject. What kind of junk he drew? How could he not know? What's wrong with Uncle Master? Seeing you return to your small courtyard, Liu Dongyu then asked Xi Ming and Yun Kenju, who were nearby. Uncle Master said he wants to ascend. Xi Ming told Liu Dongyu. Theft. Liu Dongyu almost choked on his own saliva. Uncle Master isn't sick, is he? Not long after, you were seen leaving with your Pingjing fan. Currently, I can only go to Baiyun City again. See if I can find a few more suckers. You all stay well at home. I'm going out to earn some money. Leaving these words behind, you left the Longevity Temple. Arriving at the familiar Baiyun City, you first casually inquired about the city lord's mansion. On the street, that day using the key-gazing art, you saw ominous energy surging above the Yun's head, and guessed that the family should have all died out. But after inquiring, you found that nothing at all had happened to the city lord's mansion. Strange, those ominous presences are still alive. Holding on to this doubt, just as you were about to set up your stall, you heard numerous footsteps. Appearing behind you, turning around to look, you saw 20 to 30 people walking over. The leader had a knife scar on his face, making him look very fierce. Li Hanzhou, I didn't expect to run into you here. How's the money coming along? Scarface sneered. There are only 3 days left until the repayment date. If you don't pay me back the money, you can forget about your hand. Isn't there still 3 days? You said with a frown. After 3 days, I will definitely return those 800 taels of silver to you. Just 800 taels? The scar-faced man extended a finger and shook it, then said, 800 taels is just the principal. You haven't even calculated the interest yet. Including interest, it's a total of 4,200 taels. Hearing these words, you fell silent for a moment. You didn't argue back. You know very well they're trying to fleece you. Arguing wouldn't help at all. Looks like you really have to run this time. 800 taels of silver, plus interest, 4,200 taels. That's outrageous. Who gave you permission to count money like that? Just then, a voice came from behind Scarface. Who dares to meddle in the business of White Cloud Casino? Scarface shouted angrily, then turned to look back.
He saw in the carriage behind him.
A young man sneered at the Yun. Scarface was shocked. Oh, it's young Master the Yun. This senior. How much does he owe you? I'll pay it for him. At that moment, the carriage curtain rolled up. The Zing slowly stepped out. That powerful aura instantly swept in. Everyone in the casino was startled. They didn't expect the Zing herself to come. Miss, everyone greeted respectfully. Scarface also forced a smile and replied, he owes us the casino 800 taels. The Zing said nothing extra. She directly pulled out a silver note and tossed it to Scarface. Here's 1,000 taels. Take the money and leave. Don't upset the senior. Yes, we're leaving right away. Scarface picked up the note and hurriedly left with his men. Your heart aches as you watch from the side. You only owed 800 taels. Why not ask for the extra 200 taels back? The Zing, disciple of Shangqing's sect, greets the senior. The Zing stepped forward at this moment. She bowed respectfully to you. The Yun greets the senior. The Yun also quickly came forward to pay respects. That made you a little surprised. These two didn't come to cause trouble. They helped you pay off the gambling debt. And were even so polite. No need to be so formal. You activated your prosperity technique. Looking at the Yun, you suddenly realized the sinister aura above the Yun's head had completely disappeared. The evil has been cut off. Could someone have changed their fate against all odds? Thank you, Senior, for granting me that warding talisman. It saved my whole family. Father, today we've come to invite the Senior. We must have you as a guest at the City Lord's mansion, so we can fulfill our duties as host. The Yun quickly spoke up. Invite me as a guest. You look at the two and pause to think. Could they have realized I tricked them? And now want to lure me to the City Lord's mansion, to take the chance to break 30 of my ribs with no witnesses. But that's not right. I only swindled them out of 500 taels. Yet they just paid back 1,000 taels in gambling debt. That's not a good deal. Could it be my warding talisman really solved their problem? As you pondered, the Zing was also sizing you up. He noticed on Li Hanzhou. He couldn't detect any trace of true energy, which made him all the more certain you were a peerless master. This is my father's invitation. The Zing took out a small cloth pouch from her waist. Her hand lightly brushed over the pouch. An invitation appeared in her hand. Storage pouch. You were drawn to it. It's incredibly convenient. It's considered a type of spiritual treasure. You can store items inside the storage space. Well, since City Lord has invited me, I might as well accept graciously. Father, the senior has arrived. The Yun quickly called out. Such a grown-up. Still being so noisy, making the senior laugh. As soon as the Xingbei came out, first he scolded the Yun, then bowed respectfully. The Xingbei greets the senior. City Lord, you are too kind. You walked out, sizing up the Xingbei before you. But from the Xingbei, you didn't feel any aura of a strong cultivator. To be the City Lord of White Cloud City, he must be a major figure even in Shank country. But when your divine sense scanned the entire City Lord's mansion, you found inside this mansion, there were no experts at all. That was rather odd. Please come in, Senior. The Xingbei enthusiastically invited you. Thank you, Senior, for saving my life. If you hadn't given me that divine talisman yesterday, my life would have ended right here. You're too kind hearing this. You just nodded and didn't ask further. Because you know, anything that could cause a city lord to die must involve complex matters. And you don't want to get involved? You really don't want to get involved. I've heard that Doi sects rarely interfere in the affairs of the martial world these days. Even missions posted by martial society are seldom accepted by them. Is that actually true? The Xingbei asked seriously at this moment. You nodded. Senior Lee is pure-minded and desires little. He focuses solely on cultivation. I really admire him for that. The Xingbei said this with a gesture of respect. You let out an awkward laugh. The tea is excellent. You put your teacup down, and then you say, I also need to thank City Lord the for helping me today. It looks like it's getting late. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave now. Please wait, Senior, the Xingbei quickly said. There's still something I need, Senior. I have a matter I'd like to ask for your help with, the Xingbei said seriously. You can tell me what it is. If I can help, it won't be a problem. You nodded in reply. I know Senior possesses incomparable skills. Your cultivation is unfathomable. So I'd like to ask you to help escort someone out of the city. The Xingbei spoke up. Unmatched skills. Unfathomable cultivation. You're stunned. Where did this rumor even come from? It's only an hour's journey from here to the city gate. City Lord that wants to send someone out of town and needs to be so sneaky about it. Besides, your daughter's cultivation looks quite impressive. Wouldn't she be enough to escort them? Senior, please don't joke. My cultivation is nothing. It's worthless compared to you, the Xian said with a bitter smile. The Xingbei also said helplessly. Maybe Senior is wondering why Baiyun City Lord doesn't have any experts around. Actually, we had several top-tier experts in the city before. There were even transcendence-level masters here. But all of them died in battle half a year ago. I thought things would be quiet for half a year. But trouble has found us again unexpectedly. Now Baiyun City has no one available to help. I have no choice but to ask for Senior's help. My Baiyun City has long been targeted. If I want to send someone away without anyone noticing, only an expert like you can get it done. The Xingbei finished speaking and stood up, bowing respectfully to you. City Lord that really overestimates me. I don't have that kind of ability. You quickly refuse, thinking this is really ridiculous. All your people are dead, and you're still being watched. Whoever needs escorting must be in serious danger. You indicate that you can't help at all. You absolutely have to refuse. If Senior agrees to help, I am willing to pay 20,000 taels of silver as compensation. I hope money can help. So, who exactly needs to be escorted? Hearing 20,000 taels, you immediately cut the Xian off. It's a young man, the Xingbei quickly answered. Just get this young man to the pine forest 30 li outside the city. That should work. I accept. Thank you, Senior. When shall we act? The Xingbei seemed excited. No rush. You raise your hand. And then calculate with your fingers, since talismans can be used. I'll plan to use some special methods to get the person out of the city. But to make a blessing talisman, I need some special materials. Thinking of this, you say, 3 days from now, I'll escort this person out of the city. Thank you, Senior Lee, the Xingbei said solemnly, cupping his hands. This 2,000 taels of silver is your deposit, Senior. How could I accept this? You say this while taking the banknote. A warm smile appears on your face. After you've left, the Xian looked at your departing figure and said, Father, this Senior really is a bit eccentric. He doesn't look like a high-level expert at all. Then the Xingbei took out a few sheets of paper and threw them onto the table. He said, these papers record things about Li Hanzhou. Addicted to gambling, good for nothing. The Xian looked at the description on the paper and couldn't help but be surprised. Is this really Li Hanzhou as described? Father, how could Senior Li be such a person? It even says his cultivation is only 6th rank. The Xian was really confused. If he's 6th rank, shouldn't he be able to see through it? Even the Xingbei shook his head. The Li Hanzhou I investigated isn't quite the same as the one we met today, the Xingbei said. The talisman he used killed an 8th rank dream demon instantly. Logically, he should be someone very capable. But the information about him makes him seem like a fraud. But Father really has no choice. We can only take a gamble. Hopefully, he'll be able to get the 9th prince out of Baiyun City. Father, if it doesn't work, I'll return to my sect and ask my master, the Xian quickly said. No, the Xingbei quickly refused. The 9th prince's information must not leak. The powers within the Divine Q Kingdom are extremely complicated. Even your Shenqing sect has tangled connections with the imperial family. If anyone finds out where the 9th prince is, his life will be in danger. He is destined to inherit the throne in the future. If something happens in my hands, I would be the greatest sinner in Divine Q Kingdom. As for Li Hanzhou, the information I found is really unreliable. But upon further investigation, the Changsheng Temple, all these years, has had zero connections with other sects or the Divine Q royal family. Li Hanzhou is currently the only clean one. But Ziyin, when Li Hanzhou helps the ninth prince leave the city, you need to stay close. Better safe than sorry. If you find Li Hanzhou is actually a problem, just an empty braggart, when it comes to that, a murderous intent flashed in the Xingbei's eyes, and he made a throat-cutting gesture. The Ziyin nodded. Understood. Now you have money. You don't hurry back to Changsheng Temple, but go to the Shenji Commercial Guild instead. You initially planned to buy a storage pouch. However, even a storage pouch only 1 cubic meter in size costs 50,000 taels of silver. Even with all your reward, you still can't afford it. Just as you're feeling disappointed, suddenly you see some unfinished storage pouches for sale. These are specially sold to talisman masters. Talisman masters can buy them to engrave runes, then turn these unfinished pouches into a real storage pouch. They only cost 500 taels. You hesitate not one bit, and buy it straight away. I'm back. Once you return to Changsheng Temple, you call out. But Shiming and Yan Kanju are nowhere to be found. Liu Dongyu is chopping wood. The woodcutter's knife in his hand is so worn, it's almost dull. Uncle Liu Dongyu clapped his hands and quickly stood up. Don't you have the axe bestowed by the Supreme Great Emperor? Why are you still using this woodcutter's knife? Liu Dongyu paused for a moment, using the number 47 ranked weapon on the divine weapon list, Barav, to chop wood. Isn't that a bit much? Look at you being so stingy. Let me tell you something. Uncle, I'm rich now. From now on, things at Changsheng Temple will get better. You promptly tossed out 10 taels of silver. Then you said, get Ximing and Zhao Yankanju. Tomorrow, take your fellow disciples down the mountain. Buy them a set of new clothes. Thank you, Uncle. Seeing the silver in his arms, Liu Dongyu's eyes lit up. Keep up your cultivation. Strive to reach that so-called supreme realm soon. The realm of breaking through. Then take your uncle and ascend together. You patted Liu Dongyu on the shoulder, encouraging your uncle. Don't joke around, Liu Dongyu said with a bitter smile. The cultivation methods and martial arts of our Changsheng Temple are mostly wasted now. Almost none of it can be practiced. What's left are just ordinary techniques. Thinking about ascending with those won't work. That is simply impossible. Well, let me study this a bit. Leaving those words behind, you walked into the house. Now you have something more interesting to do. That is to make a storage pouch. With the experience of making the 7 treasure gourd, the second time, you were sort of familiar with the process. So just 2 hours later, your storage pouch was finished. As black smoke rose from the storage pouch, it signaled the pouch's completion. Such a large space. You looked at your storage pouch. There's at least 10 cubic units inside. But according to the manual, once the storage pouch is complete, blue smoke should fill the inside. That means the pouch was finished. Why is my storage pouch emitting black smoke? Let's put something in and see. You picked up a silver note intending to place it inside, but your hand stopped mid-air. No, if there's something wrong with this pouch, what if the silver note breaks inside? Better test it with something worthless. Just at that moment, Yan Qianju's voice came from outside. Uncle! Uncle! Dinner's ready. We're having chicken drumsticks tonight. When you walked out of the house, the table was filled with delicious dishes. You sat down and spoke. After saying that, you broke off a drumstick and placed it in Yan Qianju's bowl. Uncle eats first. Yan Qianju quickly grabbed the drumstick back. All right. You smiled. This little girl Yan Qianju, she may be young, but she's truly sensible. You took a bite of the drumstick. Suddenly you had an idea and took out the storage pouch. Uncle can actually make a storage pouch? Liu Dongyu asked anxiously. Yeah, it's considered a success. You gently placed the drumstick at the mouth of the storage pouch. Then, black smoke emerged from the pouch, instantly swallowing the drumstick. It worked. Your eyes lit up. Wait, no. Uncle, hold on. Liu Dongyu quickly waved his hand. I've seen other people use storage pouches. They all have blue smoke that absorbs things. Why is your storage pouch emitting black smoke? That 7 treasure gourd was already an accident. But this is a storage pouch. It shouldn't have any offensive power, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with it. It's just a different color, right? You don't believe it. I'll take out the drumstick I just put in and show you. You gathered spiritual power in your palm, and your soul entered the storage pouch. But nothing. Where's my drumstick? Right now, inside your storage pouch, there's a strange object. After a while, black smoke drifted across it, and in your hand appeared a complex lotus-shaped object. What the heck is this? Where's my drumstick? You're completely confused. When the thing appeared, it shocked everyone present. Uncle! Liu Dongyu suddenly stood up. He instinctively took 2 steps back. With a terrified expression, he said, "This is Tang Sect's #1 killer weapon, 1,000 Life Ghost Lotus. Where did you get it?" There's only one rumor about this in all of Tang Sect. It's one of Tang Sect's sacred treasures. How did it end up in your hands, uncle? Tang Sect's sacred treasure. You examined what was in your hand. No idea how this thing popped up in the storage pouch. Uncle, Master Yan Shanju looked at you eagerly. Suddenly having so much money. Did you rob the Tang Sect? Junior sister, you really overestimate me. Shi Ming just shook his head, not believing it. You didn't say anything, and held this 1,000 Life Ghost Lotus. Set it aside, then casually picked up a bowl from the table. Put the bowl into the storage pouch. Sure enough, as expected, after the bowl entered the pouch, it disappeared again. But in the next moment, pulled out an alchemy furnace from the storage pouch. A green dragon coiled around the entire alchemy furnace. It looked incredibly imposing. There was even a hint of pill fragrance lingering. Feast of the Azure Dragon. Liu Dongyu was momentarily stunned. Isn't that from Medicine King Valley? The alchemy furnace of the divine Dr. Sun Yoxian with 9 fingers. Uncle Master, you didn't just steal from Tang Sect. You also stole from Medicine King Valley. Liu Dongyu's eyes widened, looking terrified. Strange that you don't understand your own storage pouch. How could there be such a problem? So you tried a 3rd time to pick up food from the table. Tried again. But then Shi Ming and young Kanju hurriedly moved all the dishes in front of themselves. Uncle Master, if you take any more, we'll starve. Yan Kanju stared at you intently. How, there's nothing you can do. Quickly walked into your own room. Looked over the books on your bookshelf. Found there was even a picture book left, called Those Years I Cultivated with My Master and Mistress Behind Their Backs. What kind of ridiculous stuff is this? You couldn't help but spit. Your former self really had no sense of decency. Then, without hesitation, threw the picture book into your storage pouch. As usual, black smoke puffed out of the pouch. Then you immediately pulled the item out. This time, it worked. You took the picture book out and felt a little pleasantly surprised. But you suddenly noticed the numbers didn't add up. Before you could react, the storage pouch in your hand suddenly shattered with a bang. My storage pouch. Your face changed. How could the storage pouch break? Even though it's a postnatal spiritual treasure, the pouch has no usage limits at all. So how did it break? Uncle Master, are you alright? Hearing the sound, the 3 hurried into the room. To see you just standing there, stunned, still gripping a book in your hand. It's nothing. The pouch just suddenly broke for no reason. Then you casually tossed the book onto the table and decided to study it carefully to find out where the problem was. What's this? Liu Dongyu came over curiously to look at the book and couldn't help but gasp sharply. That's the Great Celestial Phenomenon Manual. Uncle Master, this is Sheila's national defense technique. How did you get your hands on this? Shi Ming from Sheila was also startled. Is that the Sheila that was defeated by Shank before? Yes, Sheila is incredibly powerful. Even though they lost to Shank, there are still many people from Sheila who are alive and well, now hiding somewhere in Yunwang. That manual is their strongest technique. Legend says that once mastered you can command the wind and rain. Its power is remarkable, Liu Dongyu explained. That amazing, huh? Suddenly you seem to get an idea. So you said since this technique is so powerful, and our Changsheng Monastery's techniques aren't even available for you all to practice, why don't you just cultivate this one instead? That way, our sect would grow even stronger. You'd have a better shot at immortality too.
Hearing this,
Liu Dongyu's face changed. Uncle Master, don't joke about that. That's the secret art of Shilla. If someone finds out we're practicing it, we'll be branded as Shilla remnants. And then the whole Shank kingdom would hunt us down. Such a pain. You felt disappointed. You thought it was an opportunity for a Changsheng monastery. But there's an even bigger problem. Liu Dongyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Feast of the Azure Dragon. Great Celestial Phenomenon Manual. Thousand Life Ghost Lotus. All three of these have appeared at Changsheng Monastery. If word gets out about this, we're sure to be in trouble. Whether it's Medicine King Valley or Tang Sect, or the Shilla remnants in Yunwang, we can't afford to provoke any of them. Uncle Master, where did you even get these things? You should return them. Easier said than done. How am I supposed to make another storage pouch and put everything back inside? What if the imperial jade seal of Shank's emperor pops out next? What then? At that very moment, a voice came from outside. Is Liu Dongyu here? They all looked up and saw a man in purple walk in from the door. He's from Zhuyuan's security service. Ximing glanced at him and spoke to you. Liu Dongyu quickly got up, while also a bit curious. What message would Zhuyuan security be delivering? There's actually someone sending me a letter. The man from Zhuyuan security rummaged through his bag for a while, and finally pulled out 3 invitations. Liu Dongyu, right? Sign for these, please. He handed a slip to Liu Dongyu, passed it over to Liu Dongyu, and said, this is a challenge invitation from Badao sect. This one is from the Zhao family, and the last one from the Yu Mountain Monastery. They said these are all challenge letters. They'll be coming in 7 days to duel you at Changsheng Monastery. Liu Dongyu shuddered and almost dropped his sword. Aren't they just here for revenge? Uncle Master, save me. Liu Dongyu looked pitifully at me and said, Uncle Master, it's your 7 treasure gourd. That's how I ended up offending so many people. You can't just ignore me. How am I supposed to help? I can't beat them either. Why don't you try this? You handed the Great Celestial Phenomenon Manual to Liu Zongyuan. Uncle Master, you must be kidding. No way I'm training in that. Or Shank's people will chase me down, and so will Sheila's experts. Then try this instead. You handed the 1,000 Life Ghost Lotus to Liu Dongyu. Uncle Master, if I use this, the consequences could be unimaginable. Whoever those people from the 3 sects are, they'd all be doomed. Liu Dongyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This isn't going to work. That's not working either. Looks like there's an alchemy furnace left. Why don't I make you some elixirs to boost your strength? Maybe then you'll be able to handle them. Liu Dongyu stared at you wide-eyed. Uncle Master, you know how to refine medicine too? You thought for a moment. Does braised pork count? Uncle Master, stop messing around. Liu Dongyu never thought you'd joke. Even at a time like this, if I can craft spiritual treasures, how hard could it be to make medicine? You said confidently, Uncle Master, but if you mess up the pills, they'll kill me. Uncle Master, the Vajra talisman you made for me last time was awesome. Can you draw a few more? Then they won't be able to kill me. Talismans, huh? You shook your head. Vajra talismans might keep you alive, but you'll just take a beating. Do you have any attack talismans, Uncle Master? Can you give me some? Liu Dongyu looked at you with hope written all over his face, but you still shook your head. You aren't really sure how powerful your talismans even are. Not even you know for sure. What if their disciple got blasted into ashes? Wouldn't that still attract a powerful enemy? Sigh, this is hopeless. Liu Dongyu walked out looking utterly defeated. Not long after, the Ziying rode a fast horse to the Changsheng temple. The 3-day deadline was up, and yet you made no move at all. So the Ziying had no choice but to come to Changsheng temple to see for herself. So this is the Changsheng temple. The Ziying stared at the 3 words on the temple's gate. They were already barely legible. She could hardly believe it. A place like this is actually a sect? Who are you looking for? At this moment, a voice called out. The Ziying looked up. She saw that near the entrance, a little girl was actually practicing martial arts. Okay, I'm looking for Li Hanzhou. Senior Li the Ziying stepped forward and said, You're looking for my martial uncle? I'll take you there. Young Kanju said with a smile. Thanks, the Zing asked with a smile. Are you also a disciple of Changcheng Temple? What's your name? I'm Young Kanju. Sis, you're so beautiful. There's no woman who doesn't love a compliment. Naturally, the Zing felt happy inside. She thought for a moment, then took out a long sword from the pouch at her waist. Here, this sword is for you. Wow, what a gorgeous sword. This sword is forged from Yunjin iron. It cuts through iron like mud. The Zing handed the sword over. Thank you, sis. Yan Kanju quickly expressed her thanks. Senior brother, look. This sword was given to me by this lady. Right then, Yan Kanju saw Shiming approaching from the other side. She quickly showed off to Shiming. That's pretty nice. Shiming glanced at the Zing in surprise, then cupped his fists and said, Thanks for the divine weapon, miss. You're welcome, the Zing replied. Third senior brother, where are you going? We're out of firewood. I'm going to chop some wood. You head back first. After saying that, Shiming picked up his hatchet and left. Okay, senior brother, sis. Let's go. Ahead is where Marshal Uncle lives. But right now, the Zing was left dumbfounded. Her gaze was locked onto the axe Shiming was carrying. The Bio-Ruo axe, could it be? The Zing could hardly believe her eyes. Isn't that the Bio-Ruo axe ranked number 47 on the divine weapons list? How did it end up here at Changcheng Temple? Kanju. Where did that axe come from? The Zing hurriedly asked young Kanju. The axe? Young Kanju blinked and said, We brought it back from Taixuan Holy Land. I knew it, the Zing exclaimed. Recently, I heard Taixuan Holy Land held a disciple ceremony. And Changcheng Temple participated too? Yep, young Kanju answered. Second senior brother went to participate. Marshal Uncle was the one who told him to go. The Zing was truly shocked inside. Looks like your second senior brother is pretty amazing. Second senior brother? Second senior brother isn't actually that strong. Just 5th rank cultivation. If Marshal Uncle hadn't made him a spirit treasure, and even given him a talisman, he wouldn't have gone at all. And all he brought back was an old axe. Young Kanju pouted as she spoke.
Hearing this,
The Zing was deeply shocked. You're saying your Marshal Uncle refined a spirit treasure for your second senior brother? The Zing doubted she heard right. Yep, Young Kanju blinked and replied. At that moment, the Zing looked off into the distance. Who exactly is Li Henzhou? So unassuming and low-key, what exactly is his goal? Why did he suddenly make a move this time? And his first target was none other than the Taixuan Holy Land. Thinking this, the Zing dismounted. In front of such a big shot, riding a horse over felt disrespectful. We're here, sis. Young Kanju led the Zing to a small courtyard up ahead. Then she called inside, Marshal Uncle, we have a visitor. Who is looking for me? You walked out of the house. You saw it was the Zing here. You quickly invited her in to sit. Sorry to bother you, senior. The Zing respectfully cupped her fists and said. Then she walked in. Senior Li, today you promised our city lord's residence you would give people leaving the city. Do you still remember? The Zing asked, breaking the silence. Of course I remember, you said with a smile. Because the farewell was happening at night, so I wasn't in a rush. Originally, I planned to head to Baiyun City after dinner. Didn't expect you to arrive first. Senior, please don't misunderstand. I'm not here to urge you, the Zing said quickly. It's just that my father has always admired you. He said that witnessing your actions this time would surely be a great learning opportunity. He hopes I'll follow you to learn from you. I wonder if you mind? Are you sure you want to come along? Your expression suddenly turned strange. If senior minds, I'll stop bothering you. The Zing hurriedly stood up and spoke. I'm alright with it. It's just my skills are limited. I'm afraid I'll scare you. Don't worry at all. The Zing smiled too. I'm a disciple of the Shanqing sect. I've seen all kinds of things. Alright, let's get ready after dinner. If you need my assistance, please let me know, Senior Li. They waited until it was very late. You were seen carrying a cloth bag, walking outside. You spoke to the Zing as you walked. Follow me. Curious, the Zing left the Changcheng Temple with you. The two headed west. Senior, where are we going? After walking for half an hour, the Zing couldn't resist asking. It's right ahead. You pointed forward. The Zing looked intently. There was a grove ahead. All around were barren willow trees. At this moment, the whole forest was completely silent. The atmosphere was even a bit eerie. Senior, what are we doing here? Borrowing something. You led the Xian into the woods, seeing a wide road up ahead. It's about time. After saying this, you took some willow leaves from the cloth bag. Your fingers ran across the willow leaves. In an instant, golden script seemed to appear on the leaves. Before the Xian could see clearly what was written there, you brushed the willow leaf onto your eyelid. At the same time, another leaf was brushed onto the Xian's eye. You then formed the hand seal. Shouted, "Open!" With your shout of "open," the yin trembled all over, couldn't help but shiver. Right then, next to the yin's ear, a mournful sorna sound suddenly came. What is that sound? Why does it sound so creepy? Before the Xian could speak, the next scene made the Xian's legs go weak. Where the willow forest was empty before, a whole ceremonial procession appeared. The leader was playing the surna. They wore colorful clothes. There was a red sedan behind them, like a wedding procession. It's actually working. You saw this scene and weren't scared. Senior Qian, we're seeing ghosts. The Xian's face turned pale with fright. Scared, you laughed. Senior Li, look, they're coming over. At that moment, the Xian was so nervous even her voice trembled. You immediately took out a bronze bell from the cloth bag. Ding ling ling. As the bell rang, everyone turned their heads, staring at you and the yin, living people blocking the sedan. Right then, a delicate voice came from the sedan. Sorry, you walked forward a step, bowed and said, I have something to do tonight. Want to meet you and your sedan. I know you're getting married tonight. Please let the bride walk instead. You're courting death. The woman in the sedan became furious. 2 red silk ribbons shot out instantly, directly attacking you. As you saw this, you flipped your palm. An 8-trigram mirror appeared in your hand. Using the moonlight above, the mirror's light shot straight at the red silk. Bang, an explosion sounded. The red silk burst apart. You then took out a candle, held it firmly. The candle was lit instantly. Your finger touched the candle. The flame from the candle appeared directly on your fingertip. Following the burst red silk's path, it turned into a tongue of fire and shot forward. A second later, a scream came from the sedan. Immediately after, a bride in red flew out of the sedan and crashed hard to the ground. Will you lend it or not? You asked calmly. Are you really borrowing? You're robbing. The ghost bride's face couldn't be seen. She wore a red veil, but her voice was much more aggrieved. When it's all over, I'll help you cross over. How about it? You said with a smile. Cross over? The ghost bride sneered. Clearly, you don't understand the cycle of reincarnation. It's already broken. There's no rebirth, that's all. Take this sedan. It's yours now. I'll walk instead. Marriage is the sign of a shattered cycle.
Hearing this,
You were stunned and quickly calculated with your fingers. Your face turned strange immediately. It really is. What is going on here? Such a bizarre world. I'm leaving. The ghost bride was afraid of you. She floated away. Some members of the procession remained. They seemed to have no awareness at all. Still standing there. You decided not to think too much and shook the bell. But according to a certain rhythm, those procession members slowly turned, heading toward Baiyun City. Senior, they're heading toward Baiyun City now. Seeing all the ghosts leave, the Xian finally dared to speak. Let's return now, you told the Xian. After 2 sticks of incense, you and the Xian returned to Baiyun City. Master, Dad, I'm back. The Xian returned to the city lord's mansion, finally feeling safe again. City lord, you came up at this moment. Senior Li, the Xingbei saw you approach. He also bowed respectfully, then glanced at discreetly. The Xian saw the Xingbei nod slightly. The Xingbei finally relaxed. Looks like Li Hanzhou really has skill. Has gained my daughter's approval. Thank you, Senior Li. The Xingbei turned aside. Behind the Xingbei, there was a small house. He walked over and gently knocked on the door, looking particularly respectful. Come in, a calm voice called from inside. Only then did the Xingbei open the door respectfully and signaled you to go in first. You entered the room. A young man sat in the center chair. Just one look, you could tell. This young man actually has an imperial aura about him. So he is a prince. I'll have to trouble you with tonight's matter, sir. The young man stood up. He spoke politely. May I ask how I should address you, sir? He asked. Yu Qingyang. The Xingbei seemed a bit anxious. He was about to say something, but was stopped by Yu Qingyang raising his hand.
He said that since Senior Li is taking me out of Baiyun City.
Naturally, I should be honest with Senior, since Yu Qingyang feels that way. The Xingbei naturally couldn't object. Sir, let's go now, Yu Qingyang asked. No rush, let's wait a bit, Yu replied with a smile. Yu Qingyang grew curious. What exactly are you waiting for? Yu suddenly looked outside the door and said, they're here. In an instant, a cold gust of wind blew in. The wind blew the doors open. At that moment, the Xing felt chills run down her spine. She stared wide-eyed at the doorway. Trembling, she said, they're here. But the Xingbei couldn't see anything. Instead, he accidentally bumped into the ceremonial guards. But the ceremonial guards walked right through the Xingbei's body. Yu Qingyang was also curiously gazing ahead. But no matter how wide he opened his eyes, he couldn't see anything there. There was no more small talk. You took out a talisman from your cloth bag, raised your hand and stuck it on Yu Qingyang's forehead. At this moment, on Yu Qingyang's shoulders, and on the top of his head, small flames ignited. Sir, seeing this scene, the Xing stared at Yu Qingyang in shock. Then, you took out a small bottle from the bag. After that, you sucked in the flames on both his shoulders. The flames instantly flew into your small bottle. After the two flames disappeared, Yu Qingyang felt as if something was missing from his body. But before he could react, he saw the ghostly figures ahead. Even though Yu Qingyang had seen much of the world, being suddenly faced with this scene frightened him so much that he stepped back 2 paces. Sir, what's wrong? The Xingbei saw Yu Qingyang's reaction and was startled. Senior Li, what's happening? The Xingbei quickly asked. You're fine. You just saw some things. Got a scare, but it's not a big deal. You said to Yu Qingyang, were you frightened? Is it really ghosts? Yu Qingyang was indeed frightened, but it's just some little ghosts. I summoned them to guide you out of the city. You pointed at the talisman on Yu Qingyang's forehead and explained, this is a sealing talisman. I'm using this talisman to temporarily seal your living aura. Soon, you'll get in that sit-in chair. Then I'll have these little ghosts take you to the pine forest 30 miles away. I'll be inside too. Yu Qingyang looked at the bright red bridal sedan. He felt it was very eerie. Sir, that's a wedding sedan. Senior especially snatched it for you tonight. The Xing couldn't help but say, there was originally a ghost bride inside. It was supposed to be a spirit wedding tonight. But now the bride has to walk. Oh man. Yu Qingyang coughed lightly and nodded blankly. I see you also have some cultivation. Holding your breath shouldn't be a problem. Of course not. Yu Qingyang nodded. After you get in the sedan, you must hold your breath the whole time. No matter what, don't let your breath slip. Otherwise, your living energy may overwhelm the spiritual path, making the ghost road unstable, and you could be exposed easily. By then, whether you're discovered or not, depends on your luck. Sir, I've got it. Get in there. Yu Qingyang gathered his courage and climbed into the sedan. Let's go. You shook the bell in your hand. All the ghosts began playing their instruments and singing again. They took Yu Qingyang and left the city lord's mansion. Let's follow as well, you said to the Xing. At this moment, the Xing swallowed nervously and pointed at herself, asked awkwardly, do I have to go too? Xing, what are you saying? Of course you have to go. We have to make sure the young master gets to the pine forest safely, the Xingbei said in a deep voice. Yes, Dad, hearing her father's words. The Xing was about to cry. The two rode on horseback, slowly following behind the sedan chair. After leaving the city, you vaguely feel that near the city gate, many eyes are watching the people at the entrance. They're obviously waiting for Yu Qingyang. Once you're out of the city, you ask? The Xing nods. It seems they have no idea the young master has already left the city. Yu Lake is the only way to the pine forest. By the campfire nearby sits a middle-aged man. The man's expression is focused. He's carefully cleaning his blade. Come out. The man doesn't even look up, just speaks to the air. As soon as he finishes speaking, on the opposite cliff, a man in white uses lightness skills to leap down and arrives beside the campfire. Zhao Qianqi. The man in white looks at the man by the campfire
and asks,
Haven't heard any word of you in the martial world for ages. I thought you were dead. Didn't expect you'd show up in Shank again. What are you doing here this time? It's none of your business. Zhao Qianqi doesn't even raise his head, seemingly not giving the man in white any respect. At the very least, this has nothing to do with your supreme sanctuary. I'm not here to cause trouble for your supreme sanctuary. You and I, stay out of each other's way. You don't need to keep an eye on me. Can the words of your Key and Blood Pavilion really be trusted? The Supreme Sanctuary Lord sneers. And what if I don't trust you? Says Zhao Qianqi. The Supreme Sanctuary Lord. I also heard about the recent chaos you caused in Ziding Prefecture. Snatched back Bo Ruo Manor from Sheni Mountain. You reclaimed Bo Ruo Manor. I'm sure it cost you a lot. During the disciple evaluation at Supreme Sanctuary, you never even showed up. Clearly, you were injured. Do you really think, injured as you are, whatever I want to do, can you really stop me? Upon hearing this, the Supreme Sanctuary Lord narrows his eyes, as if realizing there's a hint of caution toward his opponent. Zhao Qianqi chuckles softly, shakes his head. Relax, I don't care to fight you. It's just not worth the effort. The mission I'm on has nothing to do with you. Even if I killed you, no one would pay me. I have no good reason to waste my time and energy on you. Who is your real target? The Supreme Sanctuary Lord asks after a moment's thought. That's none of your business. Zhao Qianqi continues polishing his blade. The Supreme Sanctuary Lord looks at that blade. #32 on the Divine Weapon list. Quzhang. Who knows how many have died by this sword? Someone's coming. At that moment, the Supreme Sanctuary Lord senses two presences approaching. Zhao Qianqi's figure flickers, and he instantly appears at the top of a nearby ancient tree. From a distance, he spots two people riding toward them. Zhao Qianqi frowns. At the same time, the Supreme Sanctuary Lord has also reached the treetop and sees the Ziying rushing over. Why is the Ziying heading out so late at night? What is he up to? Seeing that the newcomers aren't his targets, Zhao Qianqi decides to turn back. His mission is to assassinate the 9th prince. As for the others, he couldn't care less. But just then, Yu Qingyang's face inside the sedan suddenly changes. After holding his breath for so long, he finally can't stand it anymore, and can't help but cough. Yu Qingyang's young energy seeps out. With the cough, the entire sedan and all the surrounding little ghosts are immediately forced out of the netherworld. In just a moment, all those little ghosts begin to sway and seem unwilling to move forward. In just an instant, Zhao Qianqi and the Supreme Sanctuary Lord both sense an unfamiliar aura suddenly appearing. The target's here. A hint of excitement flashes in Zhao Qianqi's eyes. Zhao Qianqi draws his sword instantly. The blade flashes through the long night, cutting directly toward where that aura appeared. He swings his blade down. In an instant, the void trembles violently. The little ghosts and the sedan vanish completely. Yu Qingyang tumbles right out of the sedan, falling to the ground. This is bad. Not far behind, the Ziying sees this scene, and his expression changes immediately. His young energy has leaked. You watch from the side, and shake your head as well. Finally, I've been waiting for this. Zhao Qianqi drifts gently down, and stands before Yu Qingyang. Yu Qingyang looks at his opponent, sensing the unmatched power the other exudes. He knows he's no match whatsoever. Who is this man? The Supreme Sanctuary Lord has never met the 9th prince, so takes no action. He just stands above in the treetops, watching what unfolds below. It's Zhao Qianqi. The Ziying's face changes. He feels the 9th prince is really doomed. Senior Li, please save the young master. Right now, the Ziying can only pin all his hopes on you. But you say nothing for now, just watching what's ahead. You know the man before you is definitely a top expert, but exactly how strong? You're not sure. Tonight, you also want to test your own strength, to see if you can really fight. On commission, to take your head, Zhao Qianqi slowly raises his hand, ready to decapitate Yu Qingyang. Yu Qingyang closes his eyes in despair. Faced with a master like Zhao Qianqi, he knows he doesn't stand a chance. But just as Zhao Qianqi's blade is about to fall, a bolt of lightning streaks through the sky. With a deafening roar, the lightning transforms into a silver serpent, baring its fangs, lunging straight at Zhao Qianqi. Zhao Qianqu's expression doesn't change, but his body retreats, and he cleaves his blade toward the lightning. With a thunderous bang, Zhao Qianqu's power is truly formidable. This lightning strike is actually split apart by Zhao Qianqi. However, Zhao Qianqi is no longer as composed. The ground under his feet cracks open, and his Quzhang sword hums loudly. Zhao Qianqu's arm is tingling from the impact. Yu Qingyang is also shocked. But seeing someone intervene, he leaps over at once, landing right beside the Ziying and Yu. Mr. Li, sorry for the trouble. Yu Qingyang says apologetically. It's fine, you reply indifferently. Are you alright, young master? The Ziying quickly asks. I'm fine, Yu Qingyang reassures, clearly concerned. Mostly, I just dragged you two into this. This opponent isn't easy to deal with. Who was it that made a move just now? Let's see. Zhao Qianqi now looks around warily. No need to look. It was me. Right, then, you ride forward on your horse. Both Zhao Qianqi and the Supreme Sanctuary Lord behind. See you step forward. And they're stunned. I'm protecting this person. I hope you'll back off, my friend. You politely spoke to Zhao Qianqi. Dost, you must be joking. Zhao Qianqi narrowed his eyes slightly. This task was accepted by my Qi and Blood Pavilion. We never back out halfway. Since the Daoist wants to protect him, then I'll just have to take a loss and kill one more person. You can try. You calmly looked at Zhao Qianqi. Upon hearing this, Zhao Qianqi drew his blade. His blade was incredibly fast. The powerful force of the blade instantly pressed down. You didn't hesitate either. With a wave of your palm, 36 five thunder talismans shot from your hand at once. Both hands formed the seals for the heavenly astral five thunder formation. The 36 talismans, in an instant, turned into terrifying lightning. The formation rapidly gathered and pressed down. A dense shower of lightning, making it seem like a thunderstorm was raining down. The endless blade was instantly shattered to pieces. Zhao Qianqu's expression changed. He immediately used his agility technique, darting and dodging rapidly, true energy surging forth at the same time. His blade flashed several times, countering the roaring thunder serpents. Blood dropped 7 slashes. Bang, bang, bang. 7 ghostly streaks of blade light successively shattered 3 bolts of lightning. But the 4th bolt of lightning crashed down. Zhao Qianqi gathered his true energy, waving his blade, and was forced to fight head-on. Bang! Zhao Qianqi staggered back dozens of steps. He looked extremely miserable at this moment. His hair was already disheveled, with an aura lingering around him. A burnt smell. Theft! Zhao Qianqi couldn't hold it in and spat out a mouthful of blood. Still not dead? You hadn't expected Zhao Qianqi to be this strong. He actually survived the heavenly astral 5 thunder formation, with only minor injuries. I really underestimated you. At this moment, Zhao Qianqi was staring at you intensely. Didn't expect there'd be someone like you in Dongyongzhou. I've been ignorant, but my words still stand. If Qi and Blood Pavilion want someone dead, they'll die. With that, a scroll flew out directly from Zhao Qianqu's storage pouch. Oh no, it's a spirit treasure, the Zian exclaimed in shock. It's the storm map. Qingyang was also startled internally. Spirit treasure, you couldn't help but look at that object. Is that painting also a spirit treasure? Why isn't it listed in my beginner's guide to spirit treasures? Zhao Qianqi took a step forward, true energy surging up, and immediately unrolled the scroll in his hand. A violent storm erupted from the scroll. Senior, this is the storm map. The wind inside intensifies instantly. And then it's not just wind, but endless blade leaves. Zia Ying quickly explained to you. Whoosh! An ancient tree was instantly shredded into powder by the storm. Your arm shielded your eyes at this moment, when you suddenly noticed. Your clothes were also cut apart by the storm. My new clothes. Seeing your newly bought clothes torn, a surge of pure spiritual power poured from your body. With a wave of your palm, a mysterious force actually tore the storm apart barehanded. A multitude of storms, centered around your palm, all converged towards it, finally transforming into long rivers, and flowed into your palm. What Zhao Qianqi saw his storm map. The released blade winds actually absorbed into your palm. He couldn't quite believe it. Who exactly are you? How can you do this? Zhao Qianqi's voice was trembling at this moment. The supreme master of Taixuan also gasped. Sheila's ultimate secret technique, great celestial phenomenon. Secret bang. The endless storms, after gathering into your palm, collapsed instantly. At this time, your gaze fell on Zhao Qianqi's storm map. This spirit treasure is worth some research. Right then, Zhao Qianqi couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of blood. His injuries were truly severe at this point. Zhao Qianqi was already thinking of retreating. We'll meet again someday. After finishing, Zhao Qianqi turned and prepared to leave. Qingyang stepped forward. He looked at Zhao Qianqi's back and spoke. Mr. Li, this man has killed many in my Shank kingdom. Could Senior make a move and keep him here so he won't cause more trouble elsewhere? Don't do evil towards Elder Li. Use your thunder to strike him dead. The Zing quickly chimed in. They're gone now. You shrug your shoulders. I've already used up all my 5 thunder talismans. That's all I brought. Now he wants to leave. I have absolutely no solution. Yu Qingyang and the Zing were stunned as well. It was hard enough to seriously injure someone like Zhao Qianqi. Are we really just going to let him leave like this? But just at this moment, Zhao Qianqi, having just walked a short distance away, actually turned back again. You're out of thunder. Zhao Qianqi's figure emerges from the darkness. He can't help but sneer. So why should I leave? Prepare to die. Zhao Qianqi knew waiting would only bring trouble. He couldn't be bothered to waste words. He charged at Yu Qingyang despite his injuries. No idea if this thing will work. Now you see Zhao Qianqi trying to kill again. So you take something out of your bag. Just as Zhao Qianqi charges forward, he sees what's in your hand. All the hairs on his body stand up. His eyes widen. He can't believe it at all. How is the 1,000-life ghost lotus in this person's hands? Right now, Zhao Qianqi can't even care about attacking Yu Qingyang. He immediately tries to escape. But just then you see a button on the 1,000-life ghost lotus. So you press it. In a split second, countless terrifying hidden weapons were unleashed from the 1,000-life ghost lotus. The hidden weapons flying everywhere looked like petals. They formed a massive sea of flowers, dense and overwhelming, wrapping Zhao Qianqi completely inside. The sea of flowers crashes into Zhao Qianqi. No matter how powerful his inner energy, he couldn't withstand the barrage from the 1,000-life ghost lotus. It took only 2 breaths. His energy was broken through. And then his life force disappeared completely. After Zhao Qianqi was killed, all those endless petals gathered together. Like a large river, they returned to the ghost lotus once again. He died just like that. You didn't expect it, that Zhao Qianqi would die so easily. The Zing and Yu Qingyang were totally shocked. The 1,000-life ghost lotus truly is the Tang clan's strongest hidden weapon. I didn't expect it to be so powerful. The Supreme Lord watched silently and found your identity harder and harder to guess. You know the great celestial technique. You possess the Tang clan's treasured artifact, the 1,000-life ghost lotus. Who on earth are you? You then took the storage pouch from Zhao Qianqi, removed it. You remembered seeing Zhao Qianqi put the storm map into the storage pouch. You're very interested in studying this thing. You safely stored the pouch. Saw the blade next to Zhao Qianqi again. The blade looks good. You picked it up. Careful, elder. Seeing you pick up Qiu Kang, the Zing cried out in alarm. Such divine weapons always recognize their master.
Qiu Kang was nurtured by Zhao Qianqi for so many years.
It's long been accustomed to Zhao Qianqi's inner energy. If it senses another person's energy, it will contain Zhao Qianqi's blade aura and will definitely explode. It would injure the new master. But when you grasped Qiu Kang, your spiritual power instantly flowed into it.
Qiu Kang vibrated violently.
The blade aura that Zhao Qianqi had nurtured for years inside suddenly collapsed at that moment. Qiu Kang directly surrendered to your spiritual power. Then, with a casual flick, a blade light shot out. It shattered an ancient tree nearby. You were a bit surprised. This blade is incredible. Thank you, sir, for saving my life. Yu Qingyang stepped forward and bowed respectfully. No problem. I promise to protect you. You waved your hand. You paid no particular mind still thinking about the blade. Sir, did you just use the great celestial technique? Yu Qingyang hesitated for a moment, but couldn't help asking. I think so. You just remembered. Scylla and Shank are mortal enemies. Li Dongyu mentioned earlier. Using the great celestial technique in Shank would draw royal attention. Picked up a little by accident. I'm not well versed in it. I have no ties to Scylla. You clarified your relationship with Scylla. As for whether he believes you, Yu Qingyang has to decide for himself. The junior means no offense. Yu Qingyang quickly responded. He just hopes, elder. You'd better not display this martial art in front of others if possible. Otherwise you might bring trouble upon yourself. Got it. We're arriving at the pine forest ahead. Let me take you there. You patted Yu Qingyang's shoulder. Thank you, Master Li. Yu Qingyang bowed respectfully. Once you left with the group, the Supreme Lord stepped out from the shadows. Who is he really? The Supreme Lord watched your distant figure. He knows Scylla's great celestial technique, and even has the Tang clan's legendary artifact. This person is truly mysterious. Early morning.
Inside Shangsheng Temple.
You're already back in your own hut. Eagerly opening the storage pouch, the pouch opened and it really surprised you. There is basic cultivation methods inside, various training materials, and spiritual treasures. Most importantly, you found a huge stack of silver notes. A full 700,000 taels of silver. That's a massive fortune for Changsheng Temple. Looks like you can renovate Changsheng Temple well now. You'll never have to live in such a rundown place again. Let's buy a better bed. Let Shiming and Young Kanju all get better rooms too. The temple should be tidied up. At least it has to look like a real sect. Then you put away the silver notes. Stepped outside to see how the temple could be remodeled. As you walk, you suddenly notice the main hall up front has always been closed. You never paid much attention to what was inside before. You searched your original memories. Not much information there either. Clearly, this guy not only neglected cultivation, he ignored everything about Changsheng Temple. Uncle, what are you doing here? Just then, Liu Dongyu finished training, saw you standing in front of the main hall, and curiously asked why it was locked. You turned and replied, Uncle, since Master disappeared, disciples from Changsheng Temple left or scattered, and there have been no worshippers for a long time. We haven't had money to buy incense for the ancestors either, so we locked it up. Uncle, why the sudden interest in the main hall? Liu Dongyu was curious, wanted to know who has the key. Probably with senior brother, Liu Dongyu said uncertainly. Your senior brother hasn't returned yet. He went to slay a monster. Or maybe was eaten by one. You said speechlessly. Since there's no key, you went right up to the door. A flash of light in your hand. Qiu Kang appeared. A single slash, and the lock was destroyed. Good blade. Seeing its sharpness, Liu Dongyu's eyes lit up. Creak. As the door groaned, the door opened and you immediately entered the main hall. A musty smell hit you. There was a giant incense burner in the center. Only some ashes remaining inside. When you looked up, you saw the massive statue of the ancestor ahead. And you were stunned right there. It was him.